Once Upon a Time, episode 11, Fruit of the Poisonous Tree, we are finally introduced to what storybook character Sydney is. The genie of Agrabah. Genie and a man, baby. Or as we know him, the genie of the lamp. The genie is freed by the king, Snow White's father, and invited back to the palace. It is at the palace where he spies the queen and falls in love with her. The queen's jealousy of Snow White is growing because she thinks she will never be loved by the king as much as Snow is. And I think that's true. Because the genie is so in love with the queen, he agrees to help her escape her miserable life with the king. Once the genie takes care of the queen's wishes, the queen, like any other villain, goes back on her word. Genie then turns into the magic mirror on the... Well, just imagine that this is on the wall. Back in Storybrooke, Sydney tells Emma Swan that he has dirt on the mayor. The two gang up and try to take the mayor down. And the two finally tries to expose Regina for the witch she truly is. Of course, she covers it up with an act of philanthropy to make herself look like an angel. Oh. Now, baby, I cannot see your halo. And you ain't my saving grace. Silly Mr. Gold. In the end, he wants to team up to try to take Regina down again. I tell you, Gold will stop at nothing. In this episode, we finally learn where Sydney's loyalties truly lie. In the lap of the queen! Aha! Knee slapper. There's some alluding to a lot of sexual tension between Sydney and Regina. Now that seems the only way Regina can get her men. By 1. Finding their weak spot, 2. Dragging them along with her, and 3. Treating them like lapdogs. If you think about it, it was the same way with Graham. When she did not get her way, she crushed his heart. Literally. I'm beginning to think that the social worker that opted to give Regina parenting rights to Henry when he was a baby was under some sort of curse, like the Cruciatus curse. That is the only way I would ever grant Regina permission to a child's life. Maybe they just couldn't see past the whole I'm smart, you're dumb, I'm big, you're small, I'm right, you're wrong grin that she always wears on her ugly face. Oh my god, Danny DeVito, I love your work! I was not the biggest fan of combining Aladdin and Snow White, but after watching this episode a couple times, it made more sense to me. In the genie's defense, he had never been in love before, so he didn't know that he was walking into the lion's den. Wouldn't you bend over backwards for the one you love? This episode brought back to me that stereotypical young adolescent boy in middle school trying to impress the most popular girl in school. Carrying her books, buying her lunch, only to end up being used in the end for her pre-algebra homework. Hopefully Sydney will finally man up, but it's doubtful. If you missed last week's episode of Once Upon a Time, I will post links down in the description on the ABC website for your viewing pleasure. Next week's episode can be seen this Sunday at 8/7 Central on ABC. Until then, viewers, I hope all your fairy tales come true. Love you lots.